If you found this channel, there's a good chance that you're in a long-term relationship and you're looking for some place that you can kind of learn a little bit on how to take your relationship to the next level. I'm Ron Johnson. I'm a licensed therapist and a couples counselor. And this lovely lady right next to me, this beautiful gem here, this is my lovely wife, Helen.
Hi.
Yeah. So Helen and I, we've been together since 1986. And there's just so much negativity right now going on around relationships, right? There's a lot of stuff about high value men and low value men and women, and just almost like a battle of the sexes where we're just bashing each other over and over. And we just found a lot of stuff on YouTube and on social media in general that's just so negative that we thought this would be a good opportunity to maybe share our experiences and talk about what made us a pretty fulfilled couple, especially at this season of our life. So this station is not for people that just met maybe 6 months ago, but this is for people who've been in long-term relationships. I'm talking 10, 20, 30 plus years. Although you can derive some information from here that would be beneficial, our target audience is for people who are just trying to take it to the next level. They decided to stay together, they're gonna stay together, but they're like, how can I enhance our lives at this season together? What are your thoughts, sweetheart?
I agree. We've been together a long time and we know all the bumps and bruises that are in a relationship, for sure.
Yeah, we've really been through a lot since '86. I want to share a little bit about us, and let's start a little bit and talk about our love story, how we met. So we grew up in a small town in Western New York, well, a big city in Western New York, city of Buffalo. And I was working part-time at a local bank, and I met my wife there. And one day we were working on a Saturday, and we were in our cubicles. Yeah, back then we had cubicles in the old dumb terminals, and we were working there. And this, boy, she's still beautiful, but she was just a little bit more youthful back then. And she walked by, we were stunned. It was like a deer in the headlights. We were just staring at her a little bit as she walked past. And my buddy said, hey, don't you remember her from high school? And honestly, I couldn't remember. He said, we used to see her at these dances all the time. But I had to confess, when I was in high school, I wore these thick Coke bottle glasses. And the last thing you want to do where I grew up was wear your Coke bottle glasses as you went out to a dance. So I'd always go into the dances and take off my glasses. So even if I met her, I didn't remember. But anyway, my buddy, who was also my roommate, he instantly said, boy, I'm gonna make her mine. And I was a little disappointed, but we had been friends since about 5th grade, so we decided that we wouldn't fight anymore over women once we got out of high school. And so it was first come and you get first dibs on any potential dating relationships. And so my best friend and roommate, he began to try to pursue my future wife there at the time. So what was that like for you at that time? What was going on for you?
Well, I was just trying to get into the game of corporate America and learn my job and get a few friends and enjoy life in my early 20s.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
as most people should do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, neither of us were attached seriously to anyone. And I remember my best friend, we'd always walk down to the cafeteria and he realized where her cubicle was and he would stop and he would start talking with her. And he realized that she would get dropped off in the mornings by, I think it was your father dropped you off every day?
Yeah, my dad.
Yeah, we were really young in '86. And so her father dropped her off. And so my buddy would always say, hey, listen, can I give you a ride home? So he told me he was giving her a ride home one day. And he said, man, I'm gonna get that number soon. This is back before cell phones.
Right.
So after a couple of weeks, what was going on between you and my friend?
Well, he was dropping me off a couple of times and he had a couple car issues. And then he said, you know, I can't drop you off today. I have a friend though that can take you home unless you want to call your dad. And I was like, well, my dad's been working hard. I was still living at home, so why not? I trust him because he was a friend. We were just friends, so let me see who your friend is.
Yeah. And behind the scenes, my friend, he had told me he had dropped her off about 3 or 4 times. And he said, man, every time I drop her off, I ask for her phone number, but I'm having problems getting it. And so I said, well, listen, why don't you give me a shot? And so he said, fine. And so I had him call her on the inner office phone, and we met up in the lobby, and I took her home that evening. And I remember getting to in front of your home, and I asked for your number, and I got it the first time.
Well, unbeknownst to you, I was checking you out this whole time. And I didn't know you were his roommate. But back then we didn't approach guys.
Yeah.
You know, I was taught to be a lady. So I said, well, maybe one day he will say something to me. And voila, there you were.
Yeah. I remember it well. I was so excited. I called her the next day and I made plans. It was a Friday evening. I called you the next day to make plans to take you out Sunday afternoon, and we went out and got some ice cream or something like that. No, we did. We went out and got some ice cream. Mm-hmm. And it felt like at that moment we were inseparable for at least the next 3 months. I think there was rarely a day that we didn't see each other.
Yeah, we hung out quite a bit.
And then I got to share this. Everything was going so well. I made a decision, right? Because it was going so well. She was just the perfect person for me at the time that I made a bonehead decision. I decided to break up with her because my thoughts were, I was only 20 years old and I was thinking, hey, listen, she's the right person, but it's just not the right time in my life. I got things I want to do, places I want to go, people I want to see. And I just didn't want to lock down at such an early stage. So I decided to meet her at her mom's place and give her the news. And I said, unfortunately, you're the right girl, but it's just the wrong time for me. And
I said, okay, that's fine.
What did you say?
I understand, it's fine.
She was pretty agreeable. She was just like, yeah, okay, fine. And I thought she'd be much sadder or disappointed, but it did feel like we had something special, but I guess I overestimated myself. So a few days later, I was in her neighborhood and I said, well, let me stop by and see how she's doing. Maybe I can console her a little bit. I wanted to console her from her heartache. So what I did was I went by her parents' house and she wasn't there. Her parents said she was around the corner at her girlfriend's place. And I knew her girlfriend, so I drove around the corner and I stopped in front of her girlfriend's house. And maybe you could share what was going on. I looked on the porch and there was another gentleman with a big bouquet of flowers giving them to my...
Well, we did break up, so I moved on, right?
3 days, you moved on, getting flowers like that? I was stunned. And I began revving my motor a little bit. And then they all looked at me from the porch, and then I just threw it in gear and I peeled rubber all the way down the street. And what was going through your head when you saw that?
I thought, well, I dodged that bullet. Right? I thought you might have been a stalker.
Yeah, I came off as a little stalkerish. And so I went around the corner and I waited in front of her house until she came home, and I parked a few houses down. And boy, after dark, the other gentleman, he dropped her off. And what I did was I got out of my car and I said, excuse me, Helen, can I talk to you for a moment? And she said, sure. And I said, listen, I don't know what that was about. I just said, I don't know what that was about. I don't care. I just know that from now on, I want you to be my girl and I'll be your man, and I just want us to be together. And she agreed. She said, okay. And she gave me a second chance, thank goodness. And we've been together ever since. And since that time, we've done quite a bit. We've had a rich and fulfilling life, not perfect. Definitely not perfect. She'll tell me, am I perfect? No. Yeah, of course, but you're still perfect to me, sweetheart. So we've moved to 3 different cities, 3 different regions, and we had 2 wonderful young sons. Well, they're young adults now. We've gone through just so many highs and lows, a lot of great times, weddings, anniversaries, trips, everything in
Grandchild.
between. Yeah, yeah. New jobs, new career opportunities, all the good stuff. And some of the lows as well.
And still choosing each other and growing.
Yeah, still choosing each other and growing. Even though a lot of the bad times, we've had medical issues, procedures. Yeah, when you get to a certain age, they're inevitable.
Parents passing away.
Yeah, losing loved ones,
Yeah.
and crises with our sons, just everything. Getting them through teenage years, that's a big crisis.
In
And
college.
in college as well. And so we've gone through all that, and we want to leverage our experience from a professional and a personal perspective to give that to people who are looking for opportunities to take their relationships to the next level. And honestly, I think we're going to really tap into my wife, because she's probably forgotten more than most people can even remember about what it takes to have a healthy relationship. And so I was just thinking, what do you think would be something that was really important to helping us stay together and maintaining our relationship over the years?
Well, I think the most important thing is dedication.
Dedication, okay.
And I saw that as one of your most number one traits that I found that really attracted me to being in a relationship with you in the beginning. And you just completely was on that trail all the way up to now.
Yeah.
Once you dedicate yourself to someone or something, you are resilient with it and you keep going.
Well, I tell you, you know what? Once we got married, I was really committed to that and committed to our family and just committed to our life together, even though, like I said, sometimes things were tough, from, career losses, job losses, finances, everything, to just really be loyal to each other. That's really helped us a lot there.
Commitment is very important.
Yeah, yeah. So what I want to do in our channel is that I want to meet every week with the two of us, and we talk about some of our personal experiences that have helped us. And we talk about even some of the research stuff. As a couples therapist, I'm enmeshed in a lot of therapeutic stuff with the research-based stuff, and I think we can share a lot of that as well. And right now this season, we're empty nesters, been an empty nesters for a little bit, and share
10 years.
Yeah, for 10 years now. And we have a new grandchild and about to welcome another grandchild. And so this has been a really fun and fulfilling time. But we want to give some of those tips and answer some of your questions and say, here's what we need to do to help you have the relationship that you've always dreamed of. And so that's why we created Let's Stay Together. So if you think this is something that you're interested in, and here's the thing, this isn't for someone who's been together just 6 months. This is for people who are really committed to going to the next level and who just don't want to be roommates, all right? So what we want to do is have you like and subscribe to our channel and leave a comment. Tell us how long you've been together. Yeah, we've been together since April of '86. And it's just been a wonderful journey, and we'd like you to share that with us as well. So until next time, we'll be together. We'll stay together.
Let's stay together.
All right. Talk to you soon. Bye now.